Hey guys, who am I? Alright. Oh boy, can't wait to make this difficult event even more difficult. Hey guys. Alright, hey, where's the next handle? I can't find it. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where it is. Whoa! Hi, my name is William from 222 Productions, and I am here to talk to you about the American Ninja Warrior All-Star Special from Season 11 in approximately 20 minutes or less, starting right now. So, this was a very good special, honestly. It's actually kind of amazing about how USA versus the World and the A&W All-Star Specials, just how different they are, because I never like USA versus the World, but I always like the A&W All-Star Special, and this one was no exception. In fact, I will go on the record as saying that this was a very strong one, made stronger by the editing. I thought, first and foremost, that splitting up the team events to have the individual events in between improved the flow of the show so much better than in past seasons. Because in many ways, it was a show of two halves normally, with the team event and then the individual events. And I've always said that the team events, were the weakest. And I think in many ways, having them all in a row contributed to that. So, having it edited the way it was this time around, I think was a much needed benefit to this show. Speaking of editing, we just got to get the elephant out of the room right now, is that NBC made sure to edit out a certain someone from the event. Don't need to go into detail. We already know who it is. And if you don't know, well, just look it up. It was, and I was kind of looking around to see if I could find him at all in the crowd or anything like that. Nothing. They did a really good job of just kind of scrubbing him. Unfortunately, this meant that two events got completely erased from existence, and I need my eyes in order to do this next part. I can tell you what those two events were. Someone who was there sent me some info in regards to what happened. So the two events were Twist and Soar and the Super Salmon Ladder. So Twist and Soar is basically the new version of the Flying Shelf Grab, the Wicked Wing Nuts, basically the long distance Lachey challenge. Just this time around, it was with Twist and Soar. With the Twist and Fly obstacle, but instead it's called Twist and Soar. So the competitors for Twist and Soar were you-know-who, Joe Morosky, Adam Rail, Najee Richardson, and RJ Roman. And the event was won by, well, you-know-who. He was won by Drew. I'll just say it. Drew Dreshel. He won the event. So obviously, you couldn't show that event because, well, of what happened. And then the other event was the Super Salmon Ladder, which very disappointing that we couldn't get to see that one, because Super Salmon Ladder, I think, is one of my personal favorites. It's so simple yet so much fun. The events for the competitors for this event were Drew, Carson Williams, Barclay Stockett, Travis Rosen, Casey Suhaki, and Nick Hansen. And this event was won by Carson Williams, regaining the crown this time around. I would have really liked to have seen that, and honestly, I think you could have edited around Drew, in my personal opinion, because it's just a bunch of people attempting the course. I guess the one downside is that you couldn't show the sideline at all of the competitors, and maybe that's what made it so difficult. But I feel like you could have made it work, but who knows? I wasn't there. I didn't get to see how it was filmed. Maybe he was just in too many of the shots. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, and that stinks, because, like I said, Super Salmon Ladder, one of my favorites. So what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to go through the team events all in a row this time around just because it's a lot easier that way. And then I'll go through the remaining individual events. One other thing about the editing that I want to mention is that in past years, they like to pretend that the A&W All-Stars competition was filmed like just this past month, you know, like it's how we kick off the season by doing an all-star special of the best from the previous season. And they always say stuff like, oh, you know, last year we saw them do well, and, you know, they came back specifically for this event, and stuff like that. Stupid, you know, the stupid, like, oh, this was filmed, you know, recently thing, even though this was filmed in June of 2019. But fortunately, none of that happened, and I think the pandemic has a lot to do with that, because I don't think they wanted to imply that they had a large crowd recently. I am surprised though that there was no message that said this was recorded prior to the stay-at-home orders, because I've seen other shows do that. But this one didn't. Not that it's a big deal. I imagine most people assumed this was filmed last year, but if anyone was curious, that's why. So going into the team events, this time around, we have Team Akbar, which consisted of Grant McCartney, Jake Murray, and Alyssa Beard. Team Matt, which consisted of Carson Williams, Ryan Stratus, and Michelle Warnke. And Team Zuri, which consisted of David Wright, Seth Rogers, and Maddie Howard. And one other thing that I wanted to put on my notes is that the intro was super spoilery and bad A&W. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, just don't watch the intro. But then again, I'm spoiling it right now, so I don't know what to tell you. So, stage one, once again, for the team events of the A&W All-Stars, they do it relay style. Akbar's team was shown first. And it went Grant, Jake, Alyssa. Grant and Jake were off to a good start overall, but unfortunately, Alyssa fell on the diving boards. You know, it's a tough obstacle. A lot of people fell there, and unfortunately, that was the cutoff point for Team Akbar. Team Zuri was up next, and Zuri Hall was a real bright spot during this team event because she was so energetic. You can see her cheering on the sideline when David tagged Seth. You can see her on the sideline going, go, 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 and that sort of. She was really just jumping up and down, like, yeah. It was great. It's one of the things that makes Zuri so much better than Christine, quite frankly. She honestly, Zuri is one of the best sideline reporters that they've had. She's a great addition to the cast, and I'm glad that she's back. So David and Seth they set a really good pace early on in their parts, but unfortunately, Maddie ended up taking a lot of time on the twist and fly. She kept getting hung up, kept getting turned around on that first handle, and she was eventually able to finish the course, but in a time of 2 minutes and 31.48 seconds. Then we finished up with Team Matt. Karsten and Ryan took the first two legs, and by my count, they were actually going at a slower pace than Team Zuri was once Michelle took over. But Michelle was able to handle twist and fly better than Maddie did, and Team Matt was able to win stage one and automatically advance to the third stage. Moving on to stage two, they chose to put Maddie Howard first, followed by Seth Rogers and David Wright. It was interesting. I thought Seth was going pretty slow on the snapback. It felt like he was he was taking too much time with the swings for his part. And David Wright, you know, he played it safe on the Grim Sweeper. Don't blame him. Don't want to fall. And he was able to complete the course in 2 minutes and 34.11 seconds. And then for Team Akbar, they went Jake Murray, Alyssa Beard, and Grant McCartney. First off, good strategy, not putting Grant in the first leg, because that's where the extension ladder was, and I'm sure he would be the first to tell you that he should not be doing the first leg. Love you, Grant, but let's be real. That's where you fell in stage 2 at Vegas. And at the end of the day, Team Akbar was just faster the entire leg. Jake did his leg about half the time that Maddie did, and when Alyssa finished her leg, they had approximately a 20-second advantage, and then Grant he did the water walls almost entirely in one breath, which, him being a surfer and a swimmer, and living on Hawaii, I imagine he is a very strong swimmer. He did a great job. They ended up finishing in 2 minutes, so about more than 30 seconds faster than Team Zuri. So Zuri's eliminated. It's down to Matt and Akbar, and I just want to say I think Grant was a real MVP of this episode. He had a lot of appearances, and he did overall good. So, stage 3, the rules are most obstacles cleared, and if not, it comes down to a tiebreaker based on time. So, Akbar's team was first. Grant took on the first 3 obstacles. He went a bit slow and steady, but he cleared them all. And then was Jake Murray, who cleared in about a minute the next 2 obstacles. Jake looked good. Jake is strong. I think people really underestimate how strong Jake is upper body wise. And then Alyssa Beard took the last leg, which I thought was an interesting tactic. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off because she fell at the very end of Cane Lane. She couldn't make the transition from the last rail to the finish bar. And even if she had touched it, it would have counted as an obstacle clear, but she didn't, unfortunately. And so that put Team Akbar at 5 out of 5 obstacles total cleared out of a possible 7. So basically, for Team Matt to win, they had to clear 5 obstacles faster than Team Akbar did, or clear 6 of the 7 obstacles, which meant that a lot of pressure was on Michelle Morgie in the first leg, because if she fell right away, then that means Team Akbar automatically wins. Now, she didn't. She cleared all 3 obstacles, the tipping grip, the Northwest Passage or Iron Passage, whatever the heck it's called in Stage 3. Iron Summit. I think it's Iron Summit. And the Crazy Clocks. And then what was nice to see was Ryan Stratus get revenge on the ultimate cliffhanger. He was slow on Pipe Dream. He took the slow approach, got a little hung up, but he was able to complete his leg, which is important. This put all the pressure on Karsten because Ryan finished slower than Jake did, meaning that Karsten had to complete Cane Lane, and he struggled with the transfer, but he did clear, and then he went on to clear the flying bar, and so Team Matt, with a perfect score, wins for the 2nd year in a row, and they got to celebrate. I would say this is actually the most I've ever enjoyed watching a team event. I don't know why. It was just something. Maybe it was just the pacing, because it was separated into more digestible chunks this time around. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed watching it. Now let's get through some of these individual events. So first up is the Fearsome Ferris wheels, and I'm going to do this, as some of you may have figured out the reference. So with the Fearsome Ferris wheels, It's the new version of the peg climb, or their head-to-head things. Basically, you have the swinging handles. You have to make your way around the Ferris wheel. It's going to drop, and then make your way up three final swinging handles to hit your button first. One thing that I liked is that they had a very clear lockout system, where the winner turns green and the loser instantly turns red. I appreciate this. It's something I've criticized for A&W Ninja vs. Ninja / Team Ninja Warrior 4 for them not having. So them having a lockout button switch is nice. So for the theme of this event was mentor versus pupil. And so in the first round was Dave Kavanaugh versus Lucas Reale. Lucas tried to go for an early transfer while going down on the Ferris wheel. Didn't work out. He missed the grab, and Dave was able to edge him out and clear in about 19 seconds, moving on to the final round. And then it came down to, with the other half, it came down to Daniel Gill and Matisse Awadi. And they decided to blindfold themselves, doing the event against each other. This might not be a popular opinion, but I actually didn't care for this at all, this run. I know the idea of them doing it blindfolded and them holding on for like 2 minutes, that's impressive in itself. But as a viewing experience, I didn't enjoy it, because it was just watching two guys awkwardly struggle on the obstacle, especially Matisse. Matisse apparently forgot how circles work, because because you look at the course. I'm assuming they got a good look at the course ahead of time, of the layout. You start in, for his side, he started in the lower right-hand quadrant. But yet, while he's still there, he's still reaching out on to his left when the handle is to his right. And as a viewer, it's so frustrating to see that, because he's making no progress, and I'm just watching this going, come on. So I actually didn't enjoy it. I felt I would have preferred if the two of them just tried going really fast with their vision enabled and see how well they can do then. But it just didn't work out that way. Matisse ended up falling after eventually getting over the top of the Ferris wheel, and Daniel fell at the very end of the course, right before the buzzer. But because he made it further, he moved on to the grand finals. Again, I know this might not be the popular opinion, but that's just how it is. Honestly, I was a little bored. I wanted to see them. I wanted to see them at their best. I didn't want to see them with the handicap. So that's just me. So I thought Daniel Gill versus Dave Kavanaugh in the finals was way more exciting. Just seeing them go really fast. Obviously, no blindfold, but Dave was able to beat Daniel and claim victory. So congratulations to Dave Kavanaugh. You completed it in about 19 seconds again, and he is the Fearsome Ferris wheel champion. And then we have the Striding Steps event, 8-person tournament. I'm always a big fan of the Striding Steps. There's just something. It's so quick but so tricky. I really enjoy, because it's not easy to do, but it's just fun. I like watching them do sprints. It's a sprinting event. And so for round one, we had the Towers of Powers, Brandon Mears versus Dan Polizzi. Loser had to wear a shirt, an embarrassing cut shirt, which honestly, it didn't really look that bad. It's it had some fringes on the bottom and a cutout heart. It's what's up with that? That's not embarrassing. If you're here's the thing. If you told me, hey, William, you got to cut this shirt, you got to make it look embarrassing, this is what I would do. What I would do is simply put, I would cut out the nipples. Just 2 circles right here, and that's it. Because that's weird. See, if you're going to make someone wear something embarrassing, you got to do something that is abnormal. See, because like having the fringe cut, that's not very embarrassing, especially on Las Vegas Strip. The things that people will wear in Vegas, of all places, you know? Come on, get out of here. But if you have a shirt that just has this area right here missing, people are going to look at that and be like, what's that? That's weird. That's the thing. You want a shirt that's going to turn some heads, but in a bad way of confusion. So if it was up to me, that's how I would have done it. In the end, they both end up falling, but Dan Palizzi ended up going further, so he's moving on second round. And then they decided to go with short versus tall, Barclay Stockett versus the big dog, Jody Avila. Oh, I'm so glad I got to get that in this episode. Can't wait. I hope he's in I hope he's in season 12. I don't really know who's in the seasons. But they really, they really want to emphasize the height difference between the two of them. And honestly, like, they made it look like Jody had the advantage. I thought Barclay had the advantage. Simply because, like, generally speaking, shorter people have a lower center of gravity. It's generally assumed that a taller person has more difficulty with balance. And Barclay actually had the lead early on, but she messed up about halfway through the return, and Jody was able to finish. Barclay fell off, so Jody moves on to the next round. And then they had the engaged couple, Jesse Lebrecht and Chris DeGangi, go up against each other. Loser had to do laundry for 6 months, and that is a big deal. But despite Jesse's clear frustration at her loss, at her falling off of the platform, Chris was able to finish first and gain victory and move on to the next round. And then it came down to the final first round. Chad Flexington versus Grant McCartney. Grant had it close. Grant was close on this one, but he fell about, I would say, 80-90% through the whole course. And Chad was able to maintain his balance, and he completed the course and moving on to the semifinals. Semifinals, Jody Avila versus Dan Palizzi. Dan ended up falling in about the same place he fell last time, so easy win for Jody. And then it came down to Chad Flexington versus Chris DeGangi. This was actually really close. According to this, Chad won with 0.09 seconds, and this was the type of run that I really like with watching the striding steps. The really close calls, really close matchups, but Chad was able to gain the victory. And for the finals, it came down to Chad Flexington and Jody Avila. Chad had a better recovery, and honestly, on the rope, what really made the difference was climbing the rope to hit the button, and Chad was able to edge out Jody and become the striding steps champion. Good on you, Chad Flexington. Don't ever drop the gimmick. Just don't. It's just so much fun to watch. Mega Spider Climb. They advertised this as Chicago versus Atlanta. Unfortunately, a pair of blowouts in the first round really didn't add up to excitement. But Ethan Swanson beat Kevin Carbone, and then Michael Torres beat Tyler Gillette. They really wanted to emphasize the time limit, how fast they were going. Ethan set a new record, and then Michael set a new record. So it came down to Torres and Ethan. And before they ran, the other two, they did this thing where they, bowed down on the before the feet of the two people who beat them, and my mind immediately went to the gutter because of the unfortunate camera angle. I'm just going to leave it at that. But Michael Torres was able to beat Ethan Swanson with a time of 16.37 seconds, a new record. Generally, I like the Mega Spider Climb, but I feel like it works better with 8 people instead of 4, and I think it would have been better if people were a little more evenly matched, but it just didn't work out this time around. And then the final individual event was the Big Dipper Freestyle between Jesse Graff, Adam Rail, Najee Richardson, and Grant McCartney. Najee did a good early. Najee did some good jumps. Akbar was essentially the Russian judge for him. Adam tried. It wasn't the best night for him. Neither his tricks didn't work. Jesse almost got a perfect 30 her second run. She ended up missing she ended up getting a 29 thanks to Matt. Matt, I think, was trying to be a little bit tougher on them. It was kind of weird how some people were being tougher than others at times, but if it was up to me, I would have picked Grant to win overall. Grant's first jump was impressive. It was the only 30 during normal competition, and Najee. I think Najee got robbed a little bit of at least getting the tie with Jesse and Grant, because Jesse and Grant end up getting a 2-way tie, a tie overall 52 each. If Grant had gone through the ring, his second jump easily would have been the winner, easily. So they each had to do one more jump, and Jesse went first, and it was a really good jump. I didn't agree with all of them giving her 10s, because in my personal opinion, if you're going to do a tie, if this is a one-shot tiebreaker, I would have given her a 9. And I would have been like, okay, if I thought Grant did a trick of a similar quality, I would have given Grant a 9. If I thought he was better than Jesse, I'd give him a 10. Worse, I'd give him an 8 or lower. That's how I would have done it. But by giving Jesse a 30 right away, you're guaranteeing that Grant can't win on his own. It has to be solo. It can't be a solo win. It has to be a tie. Grant's second jump, as good as Jesse's tiebreaker jump was, Grant's tiebreaker jump, I thought, was even more impressive because he had Adam Rail on his back and they did a backflip together. If it was up to me, I would have given it to Grant. I mean, Jesse, easily second place, in my opinion. And then Najee third and Adam fourth. Ethan Swanson was supposed to be in this event. Just want to give a quick shout out to him. Unfortunately, he injured himself practicing his moves. You can check out his Instagram for information on that. But yeah, overall good episode. Some really good event. I really enjoyed the Big Dipper Freestyle, and honestly, I think I enjoyed it more than last year's. And I think doing the combined score was good also, because then you didn't have the awkwardness of like the best jump not getting a 30, because that's what happened last year with Sean Bryan's clearly best jump not getting a 30 out of 30. Najee, I do think Najee got a little bit robbed, but it is what it is. That's the problem with judging events. It's up to interpretation. But overall, that is everything for A&W All-Stars. Just want to give a quick shout out to the Armchair Ninja podcast for returning for the A&W 12 season. Love you guys. Glad to see you back, at least for the next 8 weeks. And thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. And I'll see you next time for American Ninja Warrior Season 12. Later.